Um, my name is Verte Arbusto, and this is the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your love and your support. Um, First off, if you're new here, welcome. Thank you for coming over and checking out this channel. Um, I appreciate your coming over. Um, Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. As a suggestion, the way to keep your favorite YouTube content creators active and your recommended is to, regularly interact. Make sure you thumbs up, make sure you comment, share, do stuff. You got to have do stuff with them, and then it'll pop up. So it's the same here, and so do all of that just for me having told you about that. Thank you. Okay. So if you are new here, this is going to be a little different experience because I try to well, put it this way: this particular video is going to be for the subscribers and the subs and the supporters, and so therefore the people who've been around for a while, and so this is dedicated more toward them. I try to keep in mind, I work to keep in mind that there are a lot of newcomers in this in general, and this may be the first video for some people, right? Like who knows where you are in this. So I try to keep that in mind, and I generally speaking want to always kind of keep the newcomer in mind, keep redressing old things, what's old for me or maybe old for other people. It's new and fresh for the newcomer. So even though it's old hat for me, I try to work to, you know, keep things upbeat and fresh so that it's still upbeat and fresh for me. Okay, so it is the 14th of January 2021. It is what, Thursday, the day of Thor, big ass hammer. Day of Thor. But it was actually a fairly nice day. It had sprinkled rain, misted earlier today, and the boss was going to be painting, and so I was like, I don't know about that. At 11:30, when I walked out there, and I'm like, I don't know if you're painting today, but she was just like, sweep anyway, get it ready anyway, and I was like, yeah, well, of course I am, but I was like, all right, whatever, you know. So that was what my day job was. Um, and sweeping the driveway. It's two house units together. Actually, I have pictures for you, so you can see today. And since this is a day off from the second job, and it's just kind of to tell you a little bit more about me personally. Actually, I think so anyway. Um, you know, this is definitely less about the Schumann resonances and more about the message carrier. Um, and so, again, therefore, if you're a newcomer and you're expecting Schumann resonances, well, you have it up there on the board or there somewhere. And there you go. So that's your Schumann resonance content for the day. You can't be dissatisfied. I mean, look at all this stuff, right? I mean, if I'm saying the same thing you are, look at all this stuff here. Like, wow, there's a bunch of, and this is only part of what you're going to be getting later. This is my, phoned it in, Schumann resonance phoned it in version here of a show. I'll explain to you what's there. Like, all right, so I technically have I got my work in. But it's a dance show. I didn't want to work. I wanted to dance. I got my work done for the day. The boss was happy. It was a nice day. And I was thinking about doing this here with y'all today. That this was going to be a fun thing. There's going to be some, I'm pretty sure, new music to you. Uh, um, if not, it's fun music. Although I will say, I have played what I'm going to play here earlier, um, uh, before, previously. Okay, but I don't think I played it all the way through. And so I'm going to give you a little taste of it because it's the premiere, and I will hit you off lovely like later on when we did the live stream. Um, okay, so all right. So with that just general introduction, as I said, I'm Verte Arbusto. This is the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel on YouTube, and that's a very complicated name because I am an analyst. I'm a technical analyst, a forensic analyst, if you will, on the Schumann resonance graphs and charts. And I don't think I'm going to get into it. Well, I'm not going to get into it right now, but I will get into it a little bit later. I'm working on something that explains my technical background of why I'm suitable for uh, the job of explaining the scopes and graphs of the Schumann resonance harmonics. So that's all. This is why it's kind of a technical name, because I wanted to reflect the technical person that I am in my temperament, my personality, uh, and um, in what I'm doing here. It's complicated because this is the advanced class, quite honestly. Um, I am the moderator of a Schumann resonance group on Facebook called Schumann Resonance. That is, yeah, bam, I love it when that doesn't happen. Oh, please. Okay, so that's part of life. I'm not editing that out. All right, yeah, I could edit it out. I'm not going to. It's too much work to take out 3 seconds of stuff. All right, you saw me. My pants are down. All right, let me pull them up. All right, there you go. Okay, I'm plugged in. Anyway, all right, I checked everything else. All right, the coffee. I've made coffee, so the coffee isn't going to burble in the background. Anyway, so all right, onward and upward. All right, so um, all right, so that's why we have the complicated name, because it's a reflection of the technical nature of the Schumann resonance harmonics, and I wish I could. Um I wish that I could capitalize the harmonics as a reminder to people that it's their Schumann resonance harmonics. It's not the heartbeat of the planet. There's a series of these resonant harmonics. Like hertz, they're harmonics. Okay. All right. So all right. Um so yeah, all right. So with that introduction out of the way, all right. If I may continue, may I? All right, hopefully so. All right, I'm going to all right, so this is a thank you to the subscribers and the supporters, the people who've been here for a little while and know what's going on. This is for you. This is going to be a little bit more of the advanced stuff, because I know those of you who have been here for a little while are ready for it. And it's a dance party. Yay! This is a great mix from Aaron. Um, I'm going to show. All right, this is going to be a little behind the scenes thing. So later in the live stream, I'm going to show what I do in my day job. I'm going to show uh, something else. It'll come to me. All right, so but it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna do this. All right, so what I've been doing is, now that I have the hardware all set, and by hardware I mean the software on the computer as well, the OBS, and I give a proper shout out to OBS. And by the way, thank you. Speaking of donations, as a donation from a couple of you guys, you all, Bonnie and Jackie specifically, I was able to purchase a microphone setup that is going to be coming soon. Nice. I kind of looked around to, I having the ability from the show supports itself, so the show presented me with the opportunity to get some hardware. So I'm going to be getting a upgraded microphone system, so I don't have to use the little condenser mic that was good for the figuring out the layout of how I wanted it. But now that I'm have gotten money, I need to upgrade the hardware. All right, so that's going to be coming soon. It says that the order has shipped, So okay, we'll have to see. Anyway, and plus it's a benefit for Alex as well because he has really, really, really good music that he should be recording on a. Someone was just walking down the stairs, recording on a nice sounding system, microphone included. All right. So, all right. So the hardware part of this is in order. Now, what I'm have been struggling on doing to figure out the format or what I want to do with the content. Um, Ultimately, um, ultimately, we're talking about the Schumann. Here we go. We're talking about the Schumann resonances. I mean, I know what the subject matter in general is, but how do I interact with you all? And so that's kind of what this is. I can make I have been making videos and I do the processed product. So one of the things that I'm working on is having, focused material. Okay. And so, as any of you know who've been watching with the live stream, it goes all over the place. All right. So, what I want to do is have a core of material that I can have as like a pre-produced video that I set up as the building block of the live stream. So, even if you don't get to the live stream, or if you leave part of the way through it or whatever, at least you still have the core of material there and you'll be able to watch the longer, these go for 5 hours. Like it amazes me, but there's people there. There's always someone there because what we talk about is extremely fascinating and it's the Schumann resonance harmonics and more, and a lot more and way more than that in some cases. Depends on which one you come through and depending on the subject matter we're dealing with, you get what you get there. Okay, and there we go. So so as a act of kindness, I think. I don't know what, but to give people Wages has a similar kind of thing doing with him. What he, like, I want to give you just the core of information. And sometimes there's a couple of videos involved. Okay, or there should be anyway. So that's a thing as well. So, um, because the live streams are so long, I may do a relatively long premiere of like 40 minutes, but these the core lesson of this, I want to keep within the half an hour boundary, the time boundary. I think that's a, a fair shepherd of your time a half an hour to 40 minutes. Some of them will include music and like I'm may start I have been getting in the habit of putting the music more toward the end, like at the movie theater, the credits, and it gives us all a chance to get over to the live stream and get me prepared to do that, and like that kind of a thing. So it's been a fun project doing these two companion uh, parts, the A and then first the monologue, if you will, first the lecture, the material, the actual material, so you can see it, like this. There's kind of a thing here that I'm in the first part. We'll go through. I just have this as it's a backdrop today. It's a prop more than a lesson. Uh, in this particular premiere, normally, okay, I'm looking at you in the eyes. Normally, okay, I would be going through this as the lesson in this here, first initial part. Okay, so this is as my, you know, uh, my teaching model, if you will, my example. I would go through that, give you all the factual information. Not much music, like I said. Save that toward the end. This is what I'm working on. This is my, kind of stated clear objective going forward. Making these with you guys. The premiere gives me a chance to chat with you and to kind of gauge interest and see what if you understand, and what, and have discussions with people that I'm like, hey, you know what, let's talk about this in the live stream. Meet me over in the chat, and we'll go through this in more detail, because this is only going to be a 20-minute video, and the music will bring it up to 25 total, so um let's keep that, let's board it. All right, so this is going forward, at least the direction that I'm moving in, because I really like it. It doesn't take much more effort. It was, now that I have the system. Shout out to OBS. Yay, thank you. Uh and I have at this point, if you followed along, at this point you've seen I've used other capture programs, and I've done it other ways, and there's a wealth of you know e- experiential proof, I guess. I'm not sure what the word is. When you see my former videos, it's like they're all over the place, but it's like I've been testing stuff out. That's what I do. I'm the technician. I test stuff out. All right, so um again, thank you for being here. I appreciate everyone for being here. Your support, your comments, your love, your care, your wonderful attention, your being here, your like just everything. Um, so, uh, so in respect for you and your time, like I said, I really think it's important to get the core information out to you, and in a timely manner, so you have just that you can draw from, and give you the links in there, and give you the full thing. Now, with that, I also want to tell you that I have a WordPress uh, blog that's shareable. It's free. Okay, it's open to the public. So those links are shareable. Uh, there's the Facebook. The Facebook group is private. Okay, the one that I'm the admin of, it's Resonance, the Schumann Resonance Harmonics group. The other one, that's the one I admit, the one I mod, that's Schumann Resonance, and that one's a public group. So those are shareable, more or less. All right. So, and I work to essentially post the same stuff on both of them. I'm going to have more of a kind of favorite of my own, the one I admin. That's for the adults class. That's for the advanced one, without the other stuff that comes with whatever, the Ascension Age religion. The religion of Schumannism. Just put it that way. All right. So, and there's also a Patreon account that I'm working to post more stuff that is both for the public, right, and for the Patreon account, the subs, this Patreon subs, okay? And one of the things, as I've mentioned elsewhere, the music to the live stream, I'm going to start posting over there for subs only, okay? So, even if you do go over to Patreon, there's some stuff, there's both, and I don't have any levels over there, any of that. So if you were to, like David, one of my subs, he pledged £1. The funny L thing is £1, I believe. He's over in Europe, UK, somewhere over there. All right, I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'll do with the £1, but I'm sure I can, transfer it to a dollar or something I could use, or a euro, or I don't know. But all right, well, cool. It shows that it works. And so then that same person, you, David, who know who you are because you're here regularly. It was regular. He regularly pledge, he upgraded it to 5 pounds, I would appear. So thank you. Right. So like, all right. So as I, like, okay. So that system on my end works as I'm posting more stuff for you. I'm getting a little bit more um, juice into the account. Like, okay, wonderful. All right. So all right. So in honor of the fact that the money exchange system is working for me, that because I am getting more money in, I'm able to spend more time with you, and so I can do more of these. And so being able to do that, I'm in the process of considering different ways of how to use the material, the machinery, my materials here, uh, at different levels depending on who's on what service. There's also D Live that I have an account over D Live and I have one at Twitch. I haven't used them, but I have people over there who subscribe to me already. So I'm still working out some of the technological glitches to this. So like, all right. So even though I'm good enough to do the live stream here on YouTube, there's the other ability that I need to have to do a D Live. I don't know how Mark Pyers does it, but it's like, I'm trying to figure. Believe me, I've been trying to figure out how to get D Live to work, and it's like, oh man, this is a little bit of more technical than I'm able to, get happening right now. However, in the future, that's something that I will be intending. I am consciously clearly stating for this year that I'm going to do one or another over, one or a few over at D Live. Okay. And over at Patreon, I'm working with, links to videos over there that I think in some cases were public over here, but I'm going to make them, un I'm going to make them unlisted here and link them over to Patreon for the public for free over there. Because like for a number of reasons I'm not going to go into. I think I'm going to have a show that I talk more about Patreon and what I'm doing over there. All right. So first and foremost, my guides had told me early on in this that ay caramba, they had said to me, all right, I'm going to take a sip and kind of figure out how to say this. As I'm doing this new doing this, okay, not me now, but a few months ago when I'm doing this new, trying to figure shit out, I had put up some videos and I had thought I'd have a 2-tier system. And that didn't quite work, and I'm still wrapping my head around all this shit, okay. But due to a comment and a few other minor comments, but some other stuff, and trying to figure this out, my own system, I had abandoned Patreon for a little while because I wasn't sure where to put it in. I had put some stuff up in there just to get the account rolling, like 5 things that I had open to account, subscription only. Okay. So that was and then I got, like, within a month, I think, and we'll just say a month later, I got a $5 sub from Susan. I'm not sure Susan who, but Susan. Okay. Thank you. And that's been here for a few months. Couple months anyway. 3 months, I think. So Patreon had been, and I lost the account number. Knock on wood, it doesn't happen again. The password, like, all right, that happens. All right. So, just for the record, I've been putting, as I said, like here, more stuff. I have more stuff for the public and more stuff for, the subs only, and the music. The music of the things for subs only, right? That's not something that should be for the public, in my humble view. Okay. You gotta pay, honey. Uh, so, all right. So, as I said, just to recapitulate or just to review, I'm going to be posting one or multiple videos, the core information. I want to keep, again, the target time is, between 15, depending on the information, is between 15 to half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour of the material, the learning, material. Uh, so so part of this is figuring out what I wanted to do with, because let's face it, you got to have money. I need, it's like, all right, I want to have a microphone. This is an effective enough microphone, but I've heard my voice in the video and everything, and I'm like, oh my god, it sounds, like I have a much more beautiful voice. That's why I'm speaking right into this thing, right? So, and I'm also looking at the meter on my uh, thing on the OBS, um, command post there, that the the meter going, what that's doing. It says, as a result of that, I'm, kind of moving that. But look at how close I am to this. Now you have a nice kind of view of my voice, but oh my goodness, uh, like, all right, um, so to test the system and get it all up and running, I needed just a moderate, equipment in some cases. I spent $40 in microphones and this and that. So like, all right, so now that we are in this together and it's not just me making these and maybe people will come. It's like, all right, build it, they will come. Well, they've come. Okay, you guys. So, the beauty of my voice, the wonderful lilt of my voice needs to shine. And so, um, I'm not, I'm also not a technical novice to this. That's part of what makes me suitable for explaining the Schumann resonances and the hardware and the wherewithal of how to read it, is because I have a lot of experience doing this type of stuff, is doing audio video and the computers, and this is just a natural environment for me. And so the technical lab environment of the Schumann resonances, of understanding that, is a natural enough kind of feel for me when I read the papers and all of that. See the pictures, I'm like, oh man, I could do that. I could go out in the woods and put up an antenna, like, anyway. So um as a as going forth, again, I'm still getting new equipment in there, and so I have the basics. In fact, I want to show you something. I'm not sure where else it will be relevant, but can you see that? Oh, I think that's a little better. I should have music going during this, but whatever. All right, so that's the basic schematic of how it was. Oh, I don't know. I think a month ago. Um, since then, I have mics, a new mixer come in. Um, you know, like, this is real. This is very real. The universe, the creative intelligence of the universe wants you all to be getting this message. That's why I'm here, and I am blessed with wonderful subs. I'm blessed with knowledge that needs to come out, but I'm blessed with wonderful subs who want to hear what I have to say. And so for you guys, thank you. And, we're going to have a dance party tonight of, I think, some great music you haven't heard before. Um, so, all right, so I'm going to go down my script. for this. Yeah, there's going to be more music in the live stream than in the pre-recorded because I want to stick with just the hardcore material, right? That it's I really want to focus on that. The live streams tend to be very chat oriented, um, and they're more dynamic. And I've had other people comment on it, and I myself really find that I I get too distracted, among other things. I get too distracted in the live stream when I am presenting the material and chatting and interacting with people, because what'll happen is invariably there'll be comments in the chat that take me off stream, and it's or off topic, as we were. I'm working through something, and it imposes on me that I answer that relatively, within a short period of time. Certainly, I read it and look at the chat and I mention it, I vocalize it, because I want to get back to it. And that's a good way to remember something, is to speak it back and, to kind of write it down or whatever if you have. So, but sometimes it's like way off base, and it'll be something I need to think about, or like kind of clear my head on, or like wrap my head around, or like, all right, I was not prepared for that. Give me a chance to think about it. And so that's why in the chat in the premiere, it's a wonderful option that if someone goes off base in the chat, because it's going to happen either way, you know, then it's not distracting me from the material, right? And I kind of wish that most of the 5 hours I spend doing the, 5 hours I spend on the live stream, that a lot of it I could do, kind of pre-recorded on in different stuff, different, relevant material, so that I can address the chats, and so that the chat doesn't get me sidetracked off of the teaching material. So as I've been doing this long enough, I'm starting to realize that this is they're both very powerful tools that I can use to communicate ideas to people. However, there's another layer of the dynamic of who's present there at the time, and the chat is its own dimension. The chat is another dimension of doing this, like the multiple game chess. Like it is another dimension to doing this, right? That it's not, I could be of like Ron over, for example. No, I'm not bad mouthing him, and he does a great channel, but that I have noticed, he has a lot of people in the chats. He has a lot of moderators that do everything, and sometimes he'll address things. I'm not really sure, but he has different. It's just the point being, like, I'm just observing the way he does it. Dutch does his premieres a little different. His chats, we all do, different. Of the people we know, who do we know? Like, all right, I'm pretty sure we know. And Wages, right? Scott, I've been there in his thing. And the moderators are another big deal, because that's yet again another level to it, another abstracted layer, communication abstracted layer, you know, of the chats, that it takes on its own life and its own dimension. And as I've been doing this with a number, I think a lot of the people here also were kind of, I've seen on other, like, I'm surprising where I've seen other people here, like, wow, holy fuck, how it's not surprising that they would be at the same channel, but like, oh wow, yeah, there's someone else. Like, okay, like, it's not in the live stream, like, wow, holy fuck, like, it's kind of a small world. It's not, but it is. And getting smaller every day as we wind down. The cesspit of, it's the pool is getting smaller, but it's, I'm here. I've floated to the top. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate your love, your comment, support. All right, where are we? 35 minutes, I guess. All right, so that's long enough to have an introduction. Um, and we're all right. So oh yeah, live streams tend to be very chat oriented. They're very lively. I like to chat with my viewers. I think, as you know, I'm very active in the chat, and I like to interact with my viewers and those who are ready for what are coming next. So, I can't decide for you whether or not you're ready, but if you have made that decision, and you're over here and you've been through so far 30-ish minutes of me talking, and you're willing to sit through this, like, all right, you are ready for what's coming next, and that's what I'm here for, to help usher you and it in through. All right, so the music, I said this before, the music is going to be made available through the Patreon account. you know I just kind of keep that as a general thing, um until I can, until, unless, and until something changes or whatever. But that's a general thing, and not all the music, but like, I may do in a live stream. I may have cut the original mix from Aaron into like 2 or 3 segments. So I think I'm gonna post just one, probably just for now, just like one segment, and see how that works, and like, just see how that works. All right, so um so I was going to go into this, yeah, so I did. So after comments from people, you know the the audacity, to, as it were, that I would dare to make people pay for valuable information, right? Like, all right, so et cetera, whatever. That, it's a longer conversation. But my thought was this: okay, you will get all the basic information on how to read the Schumann resonance spectrogram. All right, plural. There's one in Italy. You see, not up there now, but later on in the live stream, you'll see I'm comparing. And I because I have this option these days, I compare the Tomsk, the Russian, and the Italian version, and I often explain the differences between the two of them. Right. This is so. This is actually not the basics. This is complicated. This is the advanced class that you're getting the reading on 2 of them, but the guides assure me you will. Like, this is fine. Right? It will be fine. Give them the completest reading on on the spectrograms that we got, right? And you can't. A person couldn't complain that they're not getting what they need and some extra. And if you can't recognize that you're getting the daily readings on 2 regularly, and then some, that like, that's over and above just the basic, because the basic is 1, right? I mean, that's, pick one, right? You want Russia or you want Italy? I will give you the reading on either one of those, right? That would be my obligation, just one, right? We're done. Okay, that's what everyone else does. Why should I be different? Why should I be any different? Question mark. Is it because I am different and this is the advanced class? And so from the advanced class, you would expect a base, how do we say this? A more advanced basic level, right? And part of it is a mark of pride for me. I will be, I will admit, at like almost 40 minutes into this, that I'm the baddest bitch at the ball, quite honestly. There's not a better way to put it, right? You want to know about the Schumann resonances and the charts, you come and see me, right? You come and see me, right? I will tell you, you don't believe it, like, here you go, let me give you some more advanced stuff. You know, like you ain't even ready for it. I haven't gotten up on the tables and started dancing in my high heels yet, with the clear heels, because it hasn't been ready yet. You know, y'all ain't ready for this shit. But as we move on, the clock's a ticking and it's moving ever, spiraling ever faster. Like, all right, well, it's time. Whether they're ready or not, you are ready, you're ready, and you need to kind of, if they're halfway ready, make them full ready. You know, they're here, they know that you either got to get the flare gun, get the life jackets, get the lifeboat ready. You see it, right? What are you manning? You know, the flares. You manning the panic room, like, like, oh, you need to be in the panic room. Oh, the rubber room. Oh, okay, all right. Well, guess what? That's not what this ship here is. No, no, no. This ship is. We got some other shit going on. So, on that cheery note, the basics are provided free, right? So there's no two-tiered kind of. You get all the basics. All right. Now, with the paid service, what we're looking for doing Zoom is you get to ask me advanced questions or basic questions. You get my time one-on-one dedicated to you. So I have Zoom on the computer. It's set up. We can figure that out. The people that want to do a one-on-one live session, I know Zoom is one way, and we're going to figure out some other way. But in the chat, or somewhere. We're going to start figuring out somewhere that we can kind of figure this out. But this is just kind of an introduction. I guess we can talk about this in the live stream. Right? This is one of the things we'll be talking about in the live stream. Um, now that I've spoken it and marked it publicly, yes, we will be talking about that in the live stream. Yes, mark it on your calendar. Okay. All right. Yeah, and there's other. We're gonna figure out other social media accounts. All right. Um, all right. So this video has been a production to thank you, all of you who have supported me through PayPal or Patreon, or even just subscribed. Right? If you were especially if you were one of the first 1,000 to subscribe, thank you. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to tell you. I don't know if I've ever. I need to tell you what happened with the wages world. I don't think I've said that. And I think this is a great place to tell you. All right, first I'm going to say this is first, but before I tell you the story about wages world, let me and his shout out. Let me just say thank you for that. This channel, uh, my public service announcement, or public service, my channel service public service announcement. The channel has to support itself. Right? I can support my own self through doing bicycles. I have the day job that puts the roof over my head. I have other means of income to support myself and my food and all of that. Okay? This, the technology in the studio involved in doing the Schumann resonances and doing a really nice product and doing the meetings and all of this stuff, this is way more technically involved and advanced than living in a tent in the woods, which I was, which I'm happy to go back to. And I spent all day meditating. It was like a monastery, I went out there to meditate in the woodland monastery. That's what you would call it, the woodland monastery. That is wonderful. And then in January this time last year, my guides had said to me, you need to be ready because there was going to be some bursts, or December, it was in this time, but in December they said you need to go out, you're going to have to post and talk to people because there's going to be a lot of awakenings happening and you need to be ready for that. So in January, there's 3 bangs, like 10 days apart, 8 to 10 days apart, bang, 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 all of January. And that's what did it. And I kept seeing comments on people on Facebook that in February they had started watching the Schumann. And I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. I, like my guides had said something to that effect, and sure enough, in February or April or whatever, but there's definitely an uptick, and you could see it here in the last whatever. Anyway, um, so all right, so the Aronmix that we're going to listen to is 12/18/2011. It's called Awesome. All right, so all right, so what happened was I had been watching Wage's channel for a while, a few months, and making comments. And you know how it is over there, with Wages. It's like he's got a lot of people, very busy. He doesn't always get to your comments, doesn't always read and see everything. He's got a lot of people. I think he thinks so, but regardless of whatever he thinks so, that 42,000 subs is, that would be more than I could handle. So he had been saying for a while, I wish there was someone who knew about the Schumann resonances, and this was like April when I had heard about that, March, April, I had heard about him talking about that, and in March and April, I was like, I knew I was going to have to come back. I had already been kind of learning about the Schumann resonances and talking about them, but more stuff, ascension-based stuff, and so he had made a post about he had wrote up the dotted line, the coded line he calls it. So he made a video talking about those. I'm on the 25 hertz, and so he didn't know what it was, and he was completely mystified and baffled by it. And to me, it was like, that's local interference, and I had figured it out and localized it to, it probably is the trains. The 25 hertz is probably, what operates at 25 hertz is the local trains, the electric trains. Over there in Russia, it's the 25 hertz AC line, right? And at 25,000 volts kV, you're gonna see it couple kilometers away, on their spectra. You're going to see it. And so I reminded him, I had made in the comments, I reminded him that, over in Italy, they show you the 50 hertz when they had posted something back a little while ago from Italy before that. And then, I had made a post about the 50 hertz line in Italy, that's the commercial power supply. So he had read that. I'd posted a few times, and he had read that. And so months later, when when you're seeing the 25 hertz on the Russian coded line, dotted line, at a dedicated frequency, when he see that in Russia, any of them, but in Russia is where we're talking about. He asked, what is that? And I reminded him in the comments that, Italy, you see the 50 hertz line. And so he's like, oh, yeah, that's right. And so that reminder to him, he kind of somehow made the link over to my channel, and I had already posted a few things. I'd posted a bunch of things about the sky and the clouds and all that fun stuff, flowers and whatever. But then I had also posted some stuff about and then some higher order shit about the dimensions and all that. But then I had posted some stuff about the Schumann resonances, and I changed my name to Schumann resonances, changed my icon, and I was at that point, I changed my name, and so I had started doing a few videos on the Schumann resonances, and I was one of them was like part one, and then truth versus reality. These kind of things, part one, part two, which I think some of that stuff I'm going to redo. I may keep them up and unlist them here and have them over on Patreon, I think, and then have them so they're not shaking, and have a nice version of that over here. And, even though I did it a while ago, it's new, it pops up new, it's fresh, it's new, it's not shaking, it's done here this way. All right, and then I can kind of, it'll, even though I've already done it, it's like, hey, you redo it, you get credit for another one. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Okay. So, all right. So that's basically the idea. I think you get a layout of what I'm doing, what I am doing now, what I have been doing, improvements that I'm making, and kind of the direction that I want to move in. Alex and I are figuring out how we're going to be working together on this project, because I may or may not have told you this before, but I had already, when I envisioned the studio doing this with my guides, in kind of the picture I had in my head, I have always wanted to have this as a two-person studio, specifically me and him. He's been my model, my role model in this. uh, or maybe not so much role model, but my second person, my co-host role model, I guess that's the best way to put it. So I have from the beginning incorporated him with the guitar or music. He's also got like a keyboard and other things. So from the beginning, I have always wanted to uh, incorporate him into this. And so I'm incorporating two people into this. All right. Oh, and I forgot. I haven't even. I'm like a part of the way through the Wages World story, and I interrupted myself, and I still have to get back to that. Um, So anyway, so Alex has been a consideration. Him specifically has been a consideration in doing this because I wanted to have music. Right, as you see how important music is, I wanted to have another person with me doing this that I can ask questions to or from, or someone that I can interview, someone that is a musician specifically. And so from the beginning, I have, planned to have this as um, uh, um, a, 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 a communal project, of at least with me and another person and us having the ability to chat. So, all right. So, Wages World had given me, this was months ago, a shout out. He saw I had a channel on YouTube that I had stuff talking about the Schumann, and he said you're going to learn some stuff. He goes into depth, and yes, I did, and yes, I do. So he had given me a shout out, and I was watching, and I was like, "Holy f bomb!" I remember the day I was at Alex's at his apartment, listening at my little J3, and I was like, he reads. He was specifically reading the comments from viewers. That's what he was doing. So mine was the comment that he put up there that day, if you remember. He hasn't really done that so much in a while anymore, but the comments from, the users or viewers rather, users, viewers, very similar word. So mine was a comment he put up there that day. He went over there, checked out, the few videos I had, as bad as they were, like as amateur, I should say, as they were. Amateur, okay. Um, good-hearted, kind of shaking, a little bit cardboardy. And so he gave me a shout out. So, okay, so that particular show, that he gave me the shout out. Okay. In the section on the Schumann that day, I think it was in April, if I'm not maybe May. I think it was somewhere around that. I think after May. That's right. I think it was like the end of June. It must have been June. So somewhere around the middle of June. We'll just say June 13th. When he gave the shout out of June 13th, that show, maybe the 23rd, somewhere around there. I had a few videos on this and that. So he had that comment in on the Schumann, what do you call it, the Schumann section for that day, and before the show ended, right, because it was like right there, I was right there at the front when it was like, the show was, like it had started about an hour before that, so it was like right there. So before the show was ended, I had gotten 300 people who stomped on my, sub button. Uh, and then within that equal amount of time, double that time, I got, double, like 2 hours after that, I had doubled the people, like 749. And then when I had gone to sleep, it was at 800. I woke up, it was at 900. And then before lunch that day, I had hit 1,000 subs for the channel. Holy fuck. So within 24-hour period, it was not even a full 24-hour period that I had reached the first 1,000 of the channel. So thank you all for being here. Those of you who are in the first 1,000, I really appreciate it. You've been here for a while. And so those of you who've been here for a while, I want to thank you, and I want to, do this. Oh my God, I'm almost at an hour. Holy fuck, I'm at 55 minutes. All right, so that's enough talking. Holy fuck. Boy, I do love to talk. All right, so music. We want music. What do we got? All right. So this is a great mix. You're gonna love this, and I'm gonna play the snot out of this after we adjourn and go over there. All right. So I'm gonna play 5 minutes of this, and then we're going to. Because I love you, baby.
Stop looking, listening what I say. Who you talking this and that? You're trying to make a brother breathe.